My name is Brielle Hayes, and I'm 32 years old. If stability had a scent, it would be the smell of black coffee on a clean desk at 8:03 a.m. The life I'd built one shipping manifest and logistics report at a time. I wasn't rich, but I was grounded. The kind of woman who knew exactly how long it took to get from my apartment to the office elevator, who budgeted not out of fear, but out of rhythm. Then came Evan Carter, 27, all charisma and camera angles. We met at a friend's birthday party, the kind with fairy lights and mason jar cocktails. He was filming a vlog segment when I accidentally walked through his shot. "You just improved my content," he'd said, smiling through his lens. That line should have warned me. Instead, I laughed. He had an easy charm that felt like warm light after a long shift. We started dating not long after. Back then, he was a small creator, a lifestyle influencer with maybe 15,000 followers, and a dream he wore like cologne. Noticeable, intoxicating, and slightly too strong. The first few months felt like possibility. He was attentive, imaginative, always talking about how we could build something together. "You make chaos look calm," he'd tell me, as if I were a fixed star and he was some comet passing close enough to borrow my gravity. I wanted to believe in that orbit. Then his numbers climbed. 20,000, 40, 75,000. And with each new sponsor came new rules, unspoken, but heavy. Suddenly, our dinner dates weren't about food, but content. No more tacos on the couch. Everything needed ambiance, neon signs, expensive cocktails with edible glitter. If the restaurant didn't have mood lighting, it wasn't on brand. He'd spend 20 minutes arranging plates, snapping photos, changing angles, while I tried not to let the food get cold. I told myself it was harmless. Everyone's job bleeds into their life a little. Mine just left ink on spreadsheets. His left filters on faces. Then came the first "babe, my card's being weird" moment. It was subtle at first. "Can you get this one? I'll transfer later." He never did, but he said it so casually, like we were a team. And I was proud, supportive even. I wanted to see him succeed. He called it investing in the brand. I called it love. The cracks started showing around month 16. He launched a new series, Lifestyle Level Up, where he showcased luxury items, designer watches, travel bags, hotel stays. I thought he was working with sponsors. He wasn't. The captions grew smug. The followers adored him. The comments were full of fire emojis and envy. "Couple goals," they wrote when I occasionally appeared beside him. I didn't notice when admiration turned to performance until the night he posted that photo. I was at my desk when my coworker leaned over my shoulder. Brielle, isn't this your boyfriend?" On screen, Evan posing with 3 designer duffels, captioned, "When your girlfriend can't keep up with your lifestyle, but you love her anyway." My stomach dropped. The comment section was chaos, half cheering him on for being real, half mocking me without name. "Girl needs to step up her game. He deserves better. Imagine dating someone who budgets." I closed the app, pretending I hadn't seen it, but the words stuck. Can't keep up. When I got home that night, he was filming again, ring light glowing like an interrogation lamp. "Hey," I said quietly, "we need to talk about that post." He didn't look up. "Can it wait? Lighting's perfect right now." No, Evan, it can't." He sighed dramatically, set his phone down. "It's just content, babe. People love relatable humor. You're taking it too seriously." "You told 75,000 strangers I can't afford your life." He shrugged. "I didn't tag you. Chill. It's engagement." That word again. Engagement. I wondered if he'd ever use it for anything real. I wanted to shout, but instead I did what I always do. I processed. "This isn't about money," I said finally. "It's about respect." "Respect doesn't pay rent," he muttered. The silence after that felt heavier than the luxury bags he flaunted. That night, while he slept, his phone screen lit up on the nightstand. Notifications from brands, comments, followers. He was winning. And somehow I was disappearing. The next morning, he posted another update. A flat lay of luxury watches and sunglasses with the caption, "Yesterday's post triggered some people, but never shrink yourself to make someone comfortable. If he wanted to, he would." My coffee went cold before I could swallow. He'd turned me into content. I sat there, heartbeat in my throat, realizing I'd become a supporting character in someone else's fiction. That was the morning I opened my banking app and started to see the pattern. "Babe, my card's being weird." Must have been flagged for fraud. System glitch. Except the charges he'd reimbursed later, they were all still sitting there, unpaid. Nordstrom, Bloomingdale's, Uber. The system was me. I closed the app slowly. My reflection on the dark screen looked calm, composed. But something beneath that stillness had shifted, quiet, dangerous, irreversible. That night, when he started setting up his tripod again, I said, "Evan, after this shoot, we're talking. For real." He grinned without looking up. "Sure, babe, but make it quick. My engagement's fire right now." And just like that, I knew something had ended, even if he didn't yet know it. There's a saying in logistics, everything leaves a trail. By the next evening, I had followed his. While Evan was doing a sponsored unboxing on livestream, I sat quietly in the kitchen, scrolling through our shared purchases. The numbers didn't lie. His content life had a body count, and my debit card was its graveyard. Over 3 months, Nordstrom declined twice. Bloomingdale's $2,831 charged to my card. A restaurant tab for $158 when his black card mysteriously stopped working. Each entry felt like a small betrayal wearing the mask of love. I found more. His laptop, always open, rarely locked. A bookmarked site glowed at the top of his browser, supremerelitus.com. Replica bags, counterfeit jewelry, knockoff sneakers, the same pieces I'd seen him flaunt online. And then the emails. 3 brands had sent him items for review, a $2,400 watch and $1,800 jewelry set, and a $900 duffel bag. Each message read the same. Kind reminder, please return by the end of this week to avoid penalty. All ignored. He wasn't just lying to me, he was lying to everyone. When his live stream ended, he came out grinning. "Babe, engagement hit 11K. This series is going viral." "Congrats," I said, voice too calm. "We need to talk." He tossed the ring light remote onto the couch. "Again." "Yeah, again." I turned my laptop toward him. "Recognize this site?" His smile faltered. "Why are you—" "Because I just paid $8,000 for your lies, Evan." He blinked, hands half raised like I was holding a weapon. "You're overreacting. It's temporary. I'm building a brand." "You're building debt on my back." He laughed, sharp and defensive. "Brielle, everyone does this. It's called aspirational marketing." "No, it's called fraud." That hit him. His jaw tightened. "You don't get it. You've got your little spreadsheets, your steady paycheck. Must be nice not to chase dreams." "I chased one," I said quietly. "You." The silence that followed felt like glass cracking. Then I said it. "I want you out." He blinked. "What?" "This isn't working. You're using me to fund your fake life while humiliating me online. The lease is in my name. You need to leave." He laughed, but it was brittle. "You can't kick me out over a misunderstanding. Watch me." His grin dissolved. "After everything I've done for you—" "Done to me," I corrected. He stormed off, pacing between ring lights and camera tripods. "You're throwing away potential. We could have been a power couple." "I don't want power," I said. "I want peace." That night, he didn't leave. He stayed in the spare room, door slamming like punctuation marks. I thought maybe silence would follow. I was wrong. The next morning, he went live. The headline: "When your partner sabotages your success out of jealousy." I watched in disbelief as he tearfully told his followers that I was financially controlling and emotionally manipulative. He called me the spreadsheet queen who couldn't handle his glow-up. The comments poured in. "Men deserve support too." "Sounds like she's toxic." "He's better off without her." Within an hour, my own Instagram, barely used, was flooded with messages calling me a gold digger, a control freak, a villain in someone else's story. At work, my coworker Dennis peeked over my cubicle wall. "Hey, Brielle, you okay? The internet's kinda on fire." I nodded stiffly. Just another day in logistics. But inside I was shaking. I could have screamed. Instead, I did something better. I screenshotted everything. Every declined transaction. Every invoice. Every email from brands asking for their products back. If he wanted an audience, I'd give him one. Truth, unfiltered. 2 days later, while his new video titled "My Ex Tried to Ruin My Career" hit 50,000 views, someone in his comments noticed something. A freeze frame of his live stream, behind him, blurred but visible, his open laptop. Zoom in. Tab, supremerelitus.com. The comments exploded. "Bro, is that a fake site?" "Not the influencer flexing replicas. He's cooked." He deleted the video within the hour, but screenshots are forever. That's when I realized something important. He'd made me content. Now I'd make him a case study. The night I decided to post, the apartment was silent, except for the faint hum of the ring light still standing like a ghost in the corner. Evan had gone out, probably to spin a new narrative somewhere else. But the shadows of his brand, were everywhere. A stack of luxury boxes he couldn't afford, borrowed jewelry gleaming under dust, an untouched camera still set to record me walking away. I wasn't angry anymore, just clear. I opened my laptop, logged into his old posts, and started building my own. The caption I wrote was short. Hey everyone, Brielle here, the broke girlfriend. Quick clarification. Then came the screenshots. His declined transactions at Nordstrom, Bloomingdale's, Uber Eats. My own payment confirmations, time-stamped minutes later. The replica website bookmark. Emails from brands demanding their loaned items back. I tagged the companies, included the dollar amounts, and ended with, "Transparency is beautiful, so are consequences." Then I hit post. Within an hour, chaos. Comments poured in faster than I could scroll. Wait, what? So he's been faking luxury? This is the realest post I've seen all week. By morning, it had reached the very brands he'd been lying to. At Orion Watches, commented publicly, "Thank you for bringing this to our attention. Product loan violations are being reviewed." Then, at Luna Jewelry Co., reposted his face on their story with the caption, "Authenticity matters. We do not work with deceptive creators." Evan's empire began to crumble in real time. He went live that afternoon, voice trembling with forced calm. "This is all a misunderstanding. Someone's trying to destroy me." But the comments had turned. "Dude, you did that yourself. Where's the 8K, Evan? Not the fake duffels?" His followers started dropping by the thousands. That night, my phone buzzed with an unfamiliar number. "Brielle?" The voice was softer than expected. "This is Gloria, Evan's mother." I sat down. "Hi." Her voice cracked. "I don't understand. He told us he was making 6 figures. He said you two were buying a house." "He was making debt, not money," I said gently. "I'm sorry." Silence. Then quietly. "He used our names to co-sign his car lease, said he could handle the payments." I didn't know what to say. There was nothing left to explain. Over the next few days, everything blurred together. The replica site screenshot went viral. 3 of Evan's ex-girlfriends reached out to me privately, each with the same story. He'd love-bombed them, drained their accounts, and left them in debt. One sent me screenshots from 2 years earlier, identical captions, identical financial abuse claims when she broke up with him. He wasn't unique. He was repeating himself. Meanwhile, my own inbox filled with strangers thanking me for exposing fake influencer culture. Some asked if I was okay. Others offered to send me money. Revenge crowdfunding, I guess. I declined all of it. I didn't want profit. I wanted closure. Evan, though, refused to go quietly. He started posting long captions about forgiveness and false narratives, trying to rebrand himself as a victim of cancel culture. It didn't work, because the brands had receipts, because the followers had screenshots, because I had truth. 3 nights later, he came home unannounced. The door clicked open. His silhouette filled the hallway. His hair was a mess, his eyes glassy. "You happy now?" he asked. I didn't answer. "They're dropping me, Brielle. Every partnership, every deal, even my manager blocked me." He took a step closer, voice breaking. "I could have been someone." "You still can," I said quietly. "Just not by stealing everyone else's reflection." He stared at me for a long time, then whispered, "You destroyed my life." "No," I said. "You filmed it." He left again that night, slamming the door hard enough to rattle the tripod. The next morning, his GoFundMe went live. Title, "Starting Over After Financial Abuse." Goal, $25,000. Description, a melodramatic retelling of our breakup, painting himself as a survivor of manipulation and control. He raised $47 before someone commented, "For acting classes, you'll need them." The page was deleted an hour later. But the damage to his reputation, his finances, his brand, was irreversible. By week's end, at T-Hour Official, a major drama channel released a 20-minute exposé. Fake flexing influencer. Exposed by ex-girlfriend, receipts included. 2.3 million views. 500,000 comments. Every lie he'd told now looped in HD, archived forever. And for the first time in months, I slept through the night. The following morning, my phone buzzed again. This time, a text from Gloria. "We saw the video. We're so sorry. We had no idea who he'd become." I typed back, "People don't change when they go viral, Mrs. Carter. They just get louder." She replied with a single sentence, "We're praying for you, Brielle." I didn't know if she meant it for comfort or apology, maybe both. Either way, I finally felt something close to peace. Because the truth, once posted, doesn't need defending. It defends itself. It was day 8 when the knock came. Not me this time. Not karma. Not the internet. The courier from Orion Watches. Evan had refused to answer the door all week, claiming he was too emotionally unsafe to leave the apartment. But the man in the lobby wasn't a follower or a fan. He was carrying a clipboard and a letter that began with, "Formal notice of recovery." When Evan tried to sneak out through the side door later that afternoon, they were waiting. The confrontation was brief and public. He stammered about misunderstandings, brand miscommunications, creative interpretations, none of which worked on legal representatives. They took the watch back, and what was left of his pride. 2 days later, the jewelry brand followed suit. Instead of lawyers, they went for spectacle, posting a story featuring a blurred image of Evan wearing their loaned pieces with the caption, "This individual has failed to return borrowed products valued at $1,800. Please report any sightings of our celestial collection." It wasn't a takedown, it was an obituary. Even his influencer friends, those glossy, always smiling avatars, started disappearing. One by one, they posted vague statements about boundaries, accountability, and reevaluating collaborations. His inner circle evaporated faster than his follower count. The evening after the jewelry story dropped, he showed up at my door again. Hair unwashed, hoodie half-zipped, eyes frantic. He was holding garbage bags filled with clothes and ring light cables. "They're suing me," he said, voice cracking. "The brands, the credit cards, everyone. AMX says I owe $43,000 plus legal fees." I stayed silent. "It was supposed to be temporary," he went on, pacing, "just until the sponsorships got bigger. I was going to pay it all back." "By lying your way to the truth?" He winced. "You think you're better than me because you clock in and out every day. You don't understand what it's like to matter to people, to keep them watching." I stepped closer. "You wanted an audience, Evan. Now you have one. But they're watching for the ending." He looked at me like a man realizing he'd become his own cautionary tale. "You could have just helped me," he whispered. "We could have fixed this together." I shook my head. "I did help. I stopped pretending with you." For the first time since we met, he didn't have a comeback. Just silence, long and shaking. Then he laughed, a broken, bitter sound. "I hope you're happy being nobody again." I smiled faintly. "Happier than being your lie." He tried to step closer, rage flaring, but my new Ring camera blinked to life behind me, red light recording. He froze, muttered something I couldn't catch, and stormed out. The door clicked shut, and just like that, peace returned. 3 months later, he was gone, completely offline except for a single post on a dead account, a black screen captioned, "Taking time to heal." Rumors said the lawsuits had drained everything. He'd declared bankruptcy. The car his parents co-signed was repossessed. Gloria sent me one last message. "We found out he'd been lying to us for years. We're getting help. Thank you for telling the truth." I never replied. Some closures don't need replies. They just need silence. My life didn't change dramatically after him. I still woke up at 7:15, still brewed black coffee at 8:03, still double-checked shipments and invoices. But the quiet felt earned now, not empty. I started seeing someone new. Daniel, an accountant I met through a mutual friend, the kind of man who doesn't need an audience to exist. The first time I offered to pay for dinner, he smiled and said, "Only if it's my turn next time." Simple, honest. Sometimes we talk about Evan, not by name, but in lessons. Daniel calls it the brand tax. Loving someone who charges you interest on your affection. Last week, a documentary filmmaker reached out. They wanted to include my story in a series about online deception. They offered $15,000. I said no. It's not my job to keep him relevant. Instead, I kept one thing, the Ring camera. Not for security, but for memory. A quiet, blinking reminder that proof matters, that boundaries protect peace, and that truth, once caught on film, doesn't need to shout. Sometimes at night, I watch the playback from that final confrontation, his face half lit by the glow of his own ring light, realizing the performance was over. The clip ends when he walks out the door, and I whisper to no one. Not all red flags wave, some sparkle. Then I close the laptop, pour myself a glass of wine, and let the silence stand as proof that I survived the story.